So I've been selling an awful lot of my tuning stabilizer to guys who own Epiphone Wildkats. So I thought I'd go ahead and pick one up and put one on it myself. What we're hoping to achieve is to reduce that string break angle and make it probably a lot closer to something like a B6. I have one on my Gretsch Electromatic ProJet, and so here's another B3, I believe, on a Sparkle Jet. You can see the string angle is much shallower. The Bigsby's just stay in tune a lot better. So again, looking at the steep break angle, supposedly, according to the back, that this was set up in the USA. It's a China-made guitar, and I haven't even played it, just got it out of the box. But I am going to do a little demo on this and end up putting my tuning stabilizer on it, and we will give it a listen then. Well, so to be fair, I thought I'd better play this thing just a little bit prior to doing the mod. With it in tune, it's really kind of nice. The problem comes when using the Bigsby, of course. It's very stiff, really stiff, and like we described, because of the extreme angle, the roller is pressing down so hard on those strings that there's an incredible amount of tension on the roller itself. There's a lot of excess tension down on the bridge. If this was a stop tail, that angle really wouldn't be an issue. What you will find with Bigsby's, even if you're not using the tremolo or vibrato bar, when you go to bend a string, so what happens when you bend a string is it pulls this spring down, so it will actually ever so slightly, when you bend, because you're pulling on the string, you're going to pull the Bigsby down, and when you release, the spring on the Bigsby will bring it back, and everything is supposed to be in tune. But because of the high tension on the roller, this is where things are getting kind of hung up with this guitar, and I'm going to demonstrate with a tuner what the problem with the Bigsby is. So with this guitar in tune, well, sort of, let's see. So there's the high E, B, G, O flat, D, A, E. So playing a nice E chord sounds pretty good till you bend down and release, and so she's a little flat when you bend down and release, and if I pull up and release, it's sharp. Bend down and release, flat. Pull up and release, sharp. So the tension on the roller, so you go to, if you're sharp, you go and you tune it back down. Oh, I gotta, fix this tuning here, and then you bend down again, and it's like really flat and really frustrating, and you pull up on it to fix it, and it goes sharp. So, and so if you were to just not use the vibrato bar whatsoever, you'd stand a better chance of staying in tune. But even if you bend a string, you'll activate the Bigsby, and it will still go out of tune. I've heard this complaint a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and put the stabilizer on this thing, and then we'll go through this test. Stabilizer I've made in gold to match the hardware of this Bigsby. And what it'll do, once I remove this existing stock roller, I'll put the new roller in, and it'll be quite a bit higher. The stabilizer has some sealed bearings in it, so it rolls quite smoothly. It will attach once I remove this axle. You'll see it once it's put in place, but it will be a much less drastic string angle. So really what that means is there will not be as much tension on the roller itself,
plus the sealed bearings in it will cause it to roll much more smoothly. There'll be much less tension on the strings down on the bridge, which if you were to take the strings and just run them over the top, that causes the guitar to stay in tune really nicely. But because of the way the neck is set on this guitar and the angle, and that's why they didn't put a B3 on this. They have to use a tension roller to have some sort of tension on this bridge here, because otherwise when you go for a nice big bend, the strings will just pop right out of the grooves, and that's even worse. So a little sidebar here, with the string off, you can see how it's bent from being so stressed under that roller. So releasing the tension will cause just a little bit less stress on your strings and hopefully make things operate much more. So I'm not going to go through everything it took to get this thing on, but it's on. You can actually watch one of my other videos of how to do this. One thing I wanted to note was this, holy smokes, this roller didn't even roll on this thing. This thing was so stuck. It's no good. Right now, it spins freely, has a little bit of pivoting action just in case. That's just another way to keep things running smoothly here. Another point I noticed was on the licensed versions, there's no extra spring underneath this nut. On the original versions of Bigsby, there's an additional tiny spring which makes a much spongier feel as well. So this was really tight before, so I've loosened the nut just a little bit, and I'm afraid I'm going to have to probably put a little bit of super glue on the threads so that it'll stay put and be as loose as I want it to be. When we're done with this thing is going to operate like so much better. So let me get this back together. So there it is. It's installed. You can see the string angle. It's much shallower. You can see how there's an Allen screw inside where the plastic bushings used to be. Thing is like butter compared to what it was. I mean, you had to really lean on it before. I guess I'll pull the plastic off. I think I'm gonna have to keep this one, and I will stretch the strings out a little bit and get her really tuned up and play something. I'll figure out what to play here in just a sec. So here's the high E string in tune. Bigsby down, release, right to tune. Pull it up, release, right back to tune. Just what we said to do, right?